Well, question is, why do we opt for pile foundations? See, we can categorize the foundation systems into two major classifications. One being the shallow foundations, which our regular isolated foundations and raft foundation belong to, like isolated, raft, combined. All of these foundations will fall under the classification shallow foundation systems. Whereas this pile foundation, it will be falling under the deep foundations. See, whenever it is said to be deep foundations, we are employing deep foundations, uh, the system will be slightly costly than the regular shallow foundations. Even then, if we are opting for such pile foundation systems, there must be a reason, and the reasons are like the available soil condition at the site may be clayey or very weak even after reaching deep down, say for about 3.5 to 4 meters. Guys, our shallow foundation systems, we can name, call it will be economical, it will be cheaper only if the foundation depth or excavation depth is well within 3 meters. If we are going much deeper, then our shallow foundation will not be economical anymore. See, why do we need to go deeper? Because at that particular level, at the shallow levels, your soil will be not too good. Okay, it may be clay soil present or very weak soils in the uh, reachable areas of the site. So if that being the situation, we will have to be opting for pile foundations, or when the load intensity from the structure is very high. Consider the structure is G plus 25, G plus 30, G plus 50. The load intensity below all columns will be very high compared to that of G plus 2, G plus 4. If a G plus 4 structure, if in a G plus 4 structure, the reaction load under a column may be 1200 or 1400 kilonewton maximum. Imagine if you are designing a structure with G plus 40, G plus 50, the loadings will be 10 times, 15 times more. And for that heavier loading, you cannot be designing the regular foundation systems at the very shallow level. So considering the higher load intensity from the tall structures, you will have to be going deep down for the pile foundations, or sometimes there may be a space constraints where there are no way you can start executing the excavation activity. If excavation is a constraint, then you can opt for pile foundations. Having said that, with any of these three situations, if you are facing, you can directly opt in for the pile foundations. Some examples. See, this is the example where it is just a villa, independent small villa, where the structure is only G plus 1. Regular 30-40 site and regular G plus 1 independent villa it is. We are providing a pile foundations. Why? The soil is very poor. See, considering this is your finished road or formed road level, the soil is very poor even after reaching down for say 6 meters or 8 meters. And hence, even for the very light loading, we are going in for the pile foundations. And again, moving ahead, this is the foundation system for this G+21 structure, and you can notice n number of piles here. Altogether, we can say there are 600, more than 600 piles in this project, and with the raft being placed on these piles. Okay, this is because the loading from the structure, the loading from this tall structure is very high. The load intensity below the columns of this tall structure is very high. You cannot satisfy the safe bearing capacity of the soil at the shallow depth. And if you are going very deep, your shallow foundation systems will no more be economical system. Okay, and this is a typical example of a structure. See here, this is the property line. This is your property line. You are having a basement here, and you are supposed to construct a compound wall, property line compound wall. For doing the excavation activity, because you are already having a filled up earth or the basement here, you cannot do the excavation on either sides. One side there will be your basement, another side there will be somebody else's property. Space is very much constrained here for executing the excavation activity. Hence what they will be doing, they will be executing the piles at regular intervals, and they will be building the compound walls. Okay, piles are employed even to build a compound walls, and piles are employed even to build a G+20, G+40, G+60, like a tall structure. And there will be various reasons for opting for the pile foundations. And as discussed in the beginning, the reasons may be the presence of clay soil or very weak soils, even after reaching to a depth of 3.5 or 4 meter, very high load intensity from the structure, and the space constraint. Moving forward, based on the design aspects, we can categorize the piles into two classifications. One being the friction piles, another being the end bearing piles. See, as we discussed here, it is a very small structure, a G+1 independent villa in a 30-40 dimension site property. Here the load intensity will be very less. Okay, and you need not reach deep down, say for 20 meters and for say 25 meters deep to reach the hard strata for resting your pile. One is, here you can notice in this tall structure, the length of the pile suggested is 21 meters minimum. Minimum length of the pile is 21 meters from the ground level or from the basement floor level, lower basement floor. Here in this structure we are having two level of basements. From the second basement you will be requiring to go deep down for 21 meters for achieving the hard strata to rest or to support your piles, because the load intensity is too high here, having considering the massiveness of the structure. It's a tall structure, more than G+20. Coming to this, where it is just a G+1, the loading from the structure is very less, and going deep down for 21 meters, 22 meters will really not help. The foundation system, the cost requirement for executing that foundation system itself will be costlier than the execution of entire superstructure. So in pile foundation itself, they will be opting for a different methodology, where different load transferring technique, where the loading will be transferred to the soil by the friction between the surface of pile as well as the soil particles. And to enhance that frictional capability, they will be provisioning such bulb kind of thing which will enhance the friction capability between the surface of the pile as well as soil particles. So here mostly the load transfer to the soil will happen through the skin friction happening between the soil particles and with the surface of the piles. Whereas here you can notice you are reaching down the weathered rock and you are anchoring your pile 3 meters into your weathered rock. 21 meters plus 3 meters into the weathered rock plus say another 7 meters considering the two number of basements. It will be altogether 30 meters length of pile in that G+21 structure. Whereas here the length of the pile will be only 6 meters. Okay. Because the load intensity is very less, we can still transfer the loading from the pile to the soil through the skin frictions. Whereas here the load intensity is very high and hence you will have to be reached deep down to the hard strata. So this is how we will be categorizing the piles into two different categories, friction piles and end bearing piles, based on the design aspect. Moving forward, we will be having two other categories like auger and DMC methods based on the execution techniques. See here, you can notice the setup with the help of a tractor, similar to a kind of borehole executions near your houses. The similar kind of setup will be here in the DMC method. But here there will be a setting up of tripod and you will be employing the drilling activity. Guys, here in the DMC method, the minimum dia of the pile we can employ here is 450. To start with the dia of the pile, we are employing the minimum of 450. Anything less than 450 dia, we cannot execute it with the help of DMC technique. And for very lesser dia piles, we can do it with the help of auger techniques. Having said that, in the G+1 smaller villas where the load intensities will be very less, you can notice the dia of the piles mentioned here is 300, 375, 400 and 450. Maximum is 450 dia pile, whereas nowhere P4 nomenclated piles are used here. All are P1 and P2. That means only 300 and 375 mm dia piles are used, and which cannot be executed with the help of DMC technique. And in order to execute such lesser dia piles, you will have to be opting for the auger technique. While coming for piles supporting very high intensity loadings like tall structures, and it is being an end bearing pile, you can notice the dia of the piles opted are 750, 600 and 500. 500 are very much lesser in numbers, only in the central areas, podium area, where the structure is too small. Otherwise, everywhere else you can notice only 750 dia piles. And the dia of the piles being 750 mm, you can proceed with this DMC technique. So if you can notice here, in this typical detail, it is being mentioned 21 meter length, and the termination of the pile shall happen 3 meters anchored into the weathered rock. or usually they will be indicating a value called N value, SPT value, and you will have to be terminating your pile, just like in the other shallow foundations where they have mentioned at 2.5 meter depth SBC is so and so. So with respect to that SBC, you are laying your foundations, and in the similar fashion the piles are being rested on the strata where you will identify with the help of a value called N value. We can notice here or SPT value. We will term it as SPT value as well. See here they have given N average greater than 100. Okay, so SPT is nothing but a value where it will be indicating to you that the amount of compactionness or amount of consolidation that soil has achieved, the amount of strength that soil has achieved. In order to lay your end bearing piles, the N value or SPT value of that strata should be minimum 100 or even more than that. Only in such hard strata you can rest your end bearing piles. Okay, end bearing pile in the sense all the loads are being transferred only at the bottom. So and the loads should be transferred into the very hard soil strata, otherwise the soil beneath this pile will fail and your structure settles. To avoid such undesirable situations, usually all of the piles supporting the high-rise or tall structures will be end-bearing piles rested on the soil strata with N value or SPT value greater than 100. Okay, and moving forward, as I mentioned earlier, very similar to kind of borehole executions near your houses. The drilling activity for these piles will be done using the DMC methods. Okay, these rods or these pipes will be of length 3 meters and you will be start leaving it in. And having said that, for reaching deep down 30 meters, you will have to be provisioning 10 lengths of pipe, 10 lengths of pipes, 10 number of pipes, these boring pipes to be installed one after the other to reach deep down the 30 meters length. Okay, on achieving, so how do you get to know that you have reached deep down to 30 meters? On achieving all of these 10 number of pipes deep down, you can come to a conclusion that you have reached deep down to 30 meters. And even with the last number of 10th number of pipe in hand, you will be confirming it by measuring the distance. After drilling the boreholes in the given locations, you will be preparing the reinforcements for the piles, and the reinforcement to be provided will be mentioned here. See, just like this. Okay, 12 number of T12 dia bars is provided all around this pile with the helical reinforcement of 8 mm dia bar at 250 center to center. These are all the helical rings. These are all the 12 mm vertical bars. Okay, and this is how it will be prepared before leaving it in, and it is kept or placed in place with the help of cranes and then lowered into the boreholes. Okay, after lowering it, you will be installing the TREMI pipes. These TREMI pipes are something like this, where it will be a funnel kind of arrangement for you to execute the concreting into your piles. And before executing the concreting, you will have to be using a slurry with a solution called bentonite. The density of the material bentonite should be 1.1, and the reason being usage of this slurry is even after raising back the casing, even after raising back these pipes, the hole should be stable. The soil should not collapse. So this bentonite slurry will help to maintain the stability of the borehole, and it will help. It will be just like a casing that will be holding back your soil, and it will avoid it to be collapsing into the hole. Okay, and after employing this slurry, bentonite slurry, you will be start executing the concrete. And once concreting is done, from the same mix batch, you will be collecting the cube samples and carrying out the test to ensuring the quality of the concrete. Okay, this is how some very basic fundamentals I wanted to discuss with you guys regarding the piles. And moving forward, we will have to be conducting the tests on all of these piles, and there are 3 very popular tests that we will be conducting inside on all of these sites, and they are like initial load test, routine load test, and pile integrity test. Guys, this initial load testing will be done on not working piles. These piles will be done on not working piles. Having said that, to confirm the capacity of the pile, see, the soil consultant has given the pile capacities to be 220 kilonewton for 300 dia and 320 kilonewton for 375 mm dia. See, this is a analytical result or analytical value given by the theories, and it is being calculated with a theoretical approach. But we will have to be correlating this with other different analysis methods, and one such method is experimental methods. How experiments will be conducted? Either by creating a prototype or a exact replica of the sample will be created, will be casted with the intended materials like M25 concrete and with the intended reinforcement like 60-12 main bars and 8 mm helical reinforcements. With considering all of this data, they will be executing a test pile, and the test pile should not be done inside this working area. Test piles should always be done away from the actual built up area, and again within the property. Within your property, away from the actual area, you will have to be conducting the or casting a pile which is termed as test pile in order to test whether the parameters or data given by the soil consultant is in order. So having said that, there will be a property line here. Consider it's been deleted. Consider this is being your property line. Okay, and the minimum distance that needs to be maintained between center to center of each pile is 2.5 meters the dia of that pile. See, now this pile dia is being 375. 2.5 multiplied by 375, you will be arriving to a distance 950 mm. So minimum of 950 distance has to be maintained center to center of the pile, whereas here we have left even greater spacing. A minimum of 950 has to be left because there will be a bulb creation, bulb formation will be happening, which will be termed as influence bulb. See, beneath every pile, a creation of bulb will be happening like this, which we term it as a influence area. If one more pile being executed very near like this, the influence bulb of each pile is overlapped. A bulb means the influence a pile can have is to that extent. So you are making the pile system inefficient. By overlapping these bulbs, you are making the pile system very inefficient, and hence in order to achieve the full effectiveness, you will have to be executing the piles in such a way these influence bulbs should not overlap into each other. So the theoretical value is you will have to be maintaining minimum of 2.5 times the actual dia of the pile center to center. This dimension should be minimum of 2.5 times of the dia of the pile. If you are maintaining the center to center distance minimum of 2.5 times the dia of the pile, you are avoiding the overlapping of this imaginary influence bulb, and hence you can achieve the effectiveness of the pile system. Okay. Having said that, you will have to be executing your test pile, making sure that you are not affecting the influence bulb of the already designed pile locations. See, these piles will be termed as working piles because these piles will be carrying the working loads, whereas these piles are only casted to check the correctness of the data given by the soil consultant, whether as per his saying, whether 300 dia pile can take 220 kilonewton of loading. 22 tons will be equal to 220 kilonewtons. Whether this 300 dia pile can take up a loading of 22 tons as per the saying of soil consultant is what we need to understand first, confirm first. Hence, we will be casting a pile somewhere at a distance greater than the spacing should be maintained to check that no overlap of these bulbs happens. Somewhere here you will be executing your test pile. Why a test pile should be separately executed? Because test pile initial stage of the project determine the here to conduct the initial load test on the test pile, you will be loading the pile to ultimate load, that means till the pile fails, or to a loading of 2.5 times the estimated safe load. That means if the estimated safe load is 220 kilonewtons, you will be loading the test pile 2.5 times into 220, that is 550 kilonewton, or till the pile fails. See, in either cases, you are loading the pile greater than the factored loading. Hence, it is not advisable to use this pile for the working loads or throughout the intended lifespan of the structure. So, this pile will be executed separately and will be termed as test pile, and the initial load test will happen on this pile to confirm whether the data given by the soil consultant on the piles is proper. After executing a test load or initial load test, you will be then going for routine load test. The second type of loading that needs to the second type of load test that needs to be conducted is routine load test. Well, such load test will happen on the working piles. Working piles in the sense the actual pile you are planning for the supporting of this structure is what you call it as a working pile. And the routine load test will be conducted directly on the working piles, because the loading, the amount of loading for executing the routine test is just the design loading, 1.5 times the unfactored load. So it is still safe to load a pile, to load a working pile for the design load. 1.5 times the factor of safety we will be definitely considering for designing of these piles. That is what the factor of safety we will be employing in the limit state condition. And it is definitely safe to load these piles, working piles, for a design loading. And this is how the routine load test is conducted. Whereas the initial load test is conducted till the pile fails or till it is being loaded for 2.5 times the design loading. So actual safe loading. In both the case, what happens is, if you are executing or conducting the initial load test on the working pile, what if your pile fails? Say this is a only single pile system. What if this pile fails? You cannot have another pile very near to this pile, very near to already installed pile, because you will have to be maintaining 2.5 times the diameter minimum from the center to center. In that case, somewhere here you will have to be having the second pile. So in any case, your column will be eccentric for this pile. In order to avoid such situations, you will be requiring a pile below your column, and you cannot waste this pile. If at all you are wasting this pile, then instead of one number of pile, you will have to be using two number of piles. See, what I actually meant is, if on constructing the test pile here and you have loaded the pile such a way that it has been failed, so you cannot use this pile for the actual practice. What you want to be doing, you want to be executing one more pile to a distance minimum of 2.5 times the diameter of the pile. And having said that, this pile is no more valid. You can have a one pile here. With this condition, your column will be somewhere else and your pile will be somewhere else with a distance, say 900, and this will be a eccentricity created. This 590 mm will be a eccentricity, and due to this eccentricity you can anticipate eccentric moment on your pile, which is very undesirable. So in order to avoid such eccentricity, you will have to be executing one more pile, say at a same distance. Now you can say this system is not eccentric, it is a symmetrical system. So in order to achieve this symmetrical system, instead of one number of pile, you will now be requiring two number of piles. You are increasing the cost of the quantity, and hence to avoid such situations, for conducting the initial load test, you will be casting in a separate pile, test pile, where you will be executing the initial load test to confirm the soil data parameter given by the soil consultant is in good agreement, and then routine load test will be executed on the working piles, because in routine load test you will be loading the piles only to 1.5 times the safe load, which is the factor design load. Whereas in the initial load test, you will be loading the pile to minimum of 2.5 times or till the pile fails. So this is the major difference between initial load test and routine load test. In practice, you will have to be conducting both the tests, both initial load test and routine load test, for if you are having a pile foundation system. This is very much mandatory as per IS Codal practice of 2911 part 4. Okay. And coming to the next set of tests, that is your pile integrity test. See, this is something we can term it as an NDT test. This is a non-destructive test. Here we mentioned something called bentonite. Here this bentonite will be a slurry or a solution that will check or that will prevent the collapse of soil inside your pile borehole. What if, even after considering all of these precautions, if soil has collapsed in any of your piles and you will not be having even a slight knowledge about that, because you will be standing somewhere very high and the collapse has happened somewhere here. You will not be knowing anything on this collapse. You will be really clueless, and without knowing that the soil has collapsed, you will be starting concreting your pile. And how to identify that whether there is complete continuity in the concrete till the desired bottom level. So this can be checked with the help of pile integrity tests. You will be using electromagnetic radiations, equipments with electromagnetic radiations, and which will be passing the electromagnetic waves to check the continuity in the concrete along the length of your pile. Also, it helps to check necking, that is continuity, and honeycomb formation that can be desirable in, that can be expected in concreting. Cracks, voids, etc. can be checked with the help of pile integrity tests. And this is about the pile foundations, some fundamentals on pile foundations and the loading that needs to be conducted whenever you are employing the pile foundation systems. Okay. And tomorrow we will be discussing on the industrial buildings. This is it for today. And if at all there are any doubts or clarifications required on today's session, you are welcome now. The interaction session will begin now. Any doubts today's discussion? Okay. If there are no doubts, we are concluding it, and we will be, as tomorrow, we will be meeting at 5 o'clock, and between 5 to 6:15 it will be on industrial building executions, where industrial buildings, you will be having n number of challenges, right from the execution of foundations, it being the industrial, the roads that need to be uh, designed for catering to the heavier loads, where you can imagine vehicles uh, traveling inside your property, industrial shed, carrying heavier machineries, heavier goods, raw materials. So right from roads, your foundations, and the interiors in the ground floor, wherever you are placing in your machineries, the way those structural elements need to be executed, need to be designed, and various other provisions. Having said that, it will be an industrial building, and you will be having a trucks or vehicles where it will be used for loading and unloading. There will be a separate base called dockers, where you will be loading and unloading your raw materials or finished goods that is made used in the industries. And you will be having a separate uh, path or channel that is being created for the movement of raw materials and the finished products inside the industry. BOPT it will be termed as. All of totally entirely different occupancies and usages you can witness in industrial buildings, and hence which I wanted to have a discussion with you guys. Tomorrow we will be having a discussion on industrial buildings. Mr. Kashyap has raised a concern saying, if at all pile fails in initial load test, even after testing away from built up area, is the pile redesigned? See, again the soil consultant will start his geotechnical investigations, and he will recheck on his analytical models or analytical formulas that he has made used using various theories for calculation or for analyzing the soil strata and to arriving various pile dia with various loadings. He will once again relook his entire design approach, and he will come up with some corrections on the preliminarily issued soil reports. Okay, and this is very important. Even before execution of any working pile, you will have to be conducting the or executing the test pile, conducting the initial load test. Only after a pile passes initial load test, you will be starting the execution of working piles. In the very beginning, if your initial load test fails, then again the iteration repeats. Like the soil consultant will relook his design approach. He will be once again coming up with his new or corrected values. Once again the initial load test will happen by executing one more test pile. Okay, and then only after confirmation that the test load the test results of this initial load test is in acceptable limits with the data furnished by the soil consultant, you will be moving forward for execution of the working piles. That is how the system that is implemented at execution level in the site. Okay, I hope that's all it is. And I hope Mr. Kashyap has clarified his doubt. Thank you all. We will be meeting again tomorrow at 5 o'clock for discussing on industrial buildings.